Do you ever find yourself comparing your life, your healing, your sensitivity to everyone around you? For empaths, comparison is a hidden shadow, and it keeps us stuck in low self-worth. In this video, I'll show you why it shows up. We'll talk about how it drains you and how to break free. Hi, I'm Monica of Monica Goldsoul, and I help sensitive, empathic women heal old emotional wounds, including shadows, so that you can feel safe in your body, self-trust, self-love, break free from painful patterns. All of these things are possible for you on the other side of healing. I know because for years I lived in constant comparison, always measuring myself against friends, family, other women who I thought were more confident or more successful or more loved or lovable than me. And it left me feeling like I was never enough. I think, oh gosh, who says it? I can't remember who says it, but I know the quote is, "Comparison is the thief of joy." But once I learned to see comparison as a shadow, this thief of joy, I was able to transform it. And it really brought me so much clarity about who I really am. And I hope to offer the same support for you in this video. So let's talk about why this shadow shows up. Why does comparison show up for sensitive, empathic women specifically? As children, we empathic women often grew up comparing ourselves as a way to stay safe. We were always scanning and kind of looking at how everyone else is feeling to be able to know how we should be presenting ourselves, right? We're always kind of monitoring ourselves and the world and the other people around us, and kind of measuring ourselves against who is being somewhere else. I think a lot of times empathic, sensitive women feel really alien in the world. And I believe that neurodivergence goes along with being a highly sensitive, empathic, intuitive woman. And in so much of like neurodivergence, especially like, I won't get into the specifics, but in so many different neurodivergent things that I'll have other videos that I'll talk about more in depth about neurodivergence later. But so many neurodivergent patterns actually cause us to feel like we're so different and mask like who we really are to be like the neurotypical world, to be like the neurotypical people that we see outside of us. So this is all happening really unconsciously. We're not aware of it. And so this pattern of monitoring others, monitoring ourselves, and really like that comparison that is intertwined in that process, that pattern gets wired into our nervous system as this emotional radar system that was born to keep us safe. And right, because we always felt so different. So we learned, well, if I can measure myself against others and learn how to fit in, maybe I'll avoid rejection or conflict, or I'll be more loved and lovable. But over time, that survival mechanism turns into comparison as a shadow, where instead of helping us stay safe, it keeps us small and stuck in self-doubt and constantly worrying about what others are thinking and perceiving, and not connected to ourselves. In adulthood, it leaks out in feeling like you're behind in your healing, especially in your healing journey compared to everyone else, or looking like believing others are more worthy, more pretty, more successful, more deserving, more spiritual, and shrinking your own gifts because you fear that you won't measure up. And comparison becomes a way of self-abandonment, where you disconnect from your own path to mirror someone else's, because that feels like safety to our nervous system, right? The unknown feels unsafe. So we look at what someone else is doing and then kind of align ourselves to that. But that means that we're unaligning ourselves from ourselves in the process. So how do we heal it? The first step is to realize that it's human nature to want to compare ourselves. Like, let's normalize this and not shame ourselves for it. It's a nervous system strategy that used to keep you safe. But now you get to flip the script and you get to rewire and reprogram. Instead of asking how can I measure up, you can ask, what is my path, my calling, my gift? What do I have to uniquely offer? How am I unique? What do I bring to the table just by being myself? And if you've experienced this, probably all your life, it might feel really like you don't know who you are. So how do I just be myself when I don't know who I am? Well, that's the process of allowing and discovering who you are to unfold and being in more alignment with that process and with yourself instead of measuring yourself against others on the outside. And then it's really about practicing self-trust. You can celebrate like micro wins, maybe a moment where you stayed really true to yourself and you didn't kind of match your energy to someone else's. You stayed true to yourself. You can celebrate that. A moment where you didn't sink into self-doubt and you really stayed with yourself. Celebrate that. Moments where you don't shrink yourself, or even moments where you, especially in the beginning, even moments where you notice that you did shrink yourself, because, right, that awareness, we have to notice that we're doing it first to then do something different. Those are all things that you can celebrate. Those are all growth points. You can remind yourself daily that you are not here to copy anyone else. That keeps you safe, but it keeps you small and stuck. You are here to share your unique gifts with the world, your unique sensitivity. You're here to live your unique mission, be in your unique energy, do things the way that you uniquely do things. And when you do that, comparison dissolves because you're focused more on yourself, right? And that naturally goes along with doing the work to heal so that you can trust yourself and love yourself more. This all goes together. And when you do that, you can dissolve comparison and really build self-love and self-trust so much deeper. Because when you integrate this shadow of comparison, it can transform into clarity, and it can transform into your own unique, authentic, personal power, and loving all parts of your authentic self instead of measuring yourself against others. And that's when you can use your sensitivity to tune into your own path. Really, that's when your intuition starts coming back even stronger, and that self-trust builds even more on itself. That's when your power really truly starts to shine. If this resonates with you, make sure to check out my Inner Child Healing Bundle, as really all shadow work comes back to a wounded inner child who is inside really just seeking your love and your healing. My Inner Child Healing Bundle allows you to do a kind of guided visualization where you go back in time and give your child self what they need to heal. It's really powerful. Make sure to check it out in the description box. I'll see you next time.